What's going on, folks? Israel Epstein here with you today. We're here to talk about the Aquaponics plumbing system. Okay, the first place we're going to start is at the sump tank. This system consists of a sump tank, which is 85 gallons, and a main fish tank, which is 650 gallons. Now, this one is where the system plumbing starts, with a 1,000 gallon per hour pump that is a submersible pump. And it's taking the water right out of this sump tank and pumping it directly to the larger 650 gallon fish tank. And at the end of the pipe that is taking it into the fish tank, you will see the venturi valve, which is injecting oxygen into that larger fish tank also. Now, that's how we're pumping water into the larger fish tank. How's the water coming out of the larger fish tank, and where is it going from there, and how is it returning to this sump tank? Let's take a look at that. Okay, so the water is coming directly from the sump tank via the 1,000 gallon per hour pump right from this pipe. It has a valve here which is wide open and a valve there which is just slightly closed. It's not really restricting the water too much. That is just to create the venturi effect, and I think you can see on our Aquaponics playlist in our channel how we constructed this makeshift venturi valve. It works really well. You can see that it's putting quite a bit of oxygen into the tank. And this is the water coming out of the sump tank and into the larger fish tank. Now it's leaving the fish tank through these two standpipes that are in the back, and those are simply gravity-fed standpipes. Those are 1-inch T-connectors that are leaving it open so that the water will flow over and into those so that it won't overflow. And those pipes are 1 inch and going all the way down to the bottom. They're sitting about 1/2 inch to 1 inch from the bottom of the tank, and it's gravity fed, and it's all of the waste is being sucked up into these pipes. Now you notice there's two of them. One of them is feeding a system that's going out to drop into the grow beds. The other one is feeding the radial flow filter, and they both go one from here to the grow beds, where they then do use the Afnan bell siphon is the style that we're using. If you're not familiar with that, look up Afnan. It's A-F-N-A-N, Aquaponics on YouTube, and you'll see him building his standpipe and everything for the bell system in the center of the grow beds. Well, that's what we're using here. And so the water is running through one of these gravity feeds into the grow beds, where it's filling and draining back into the sump tank. This other one is feeding the radial flow filter, where it is, you know, swirling. You can look up some videos on radial flow filters if you're not terribly, familiar with that. It will make the fish waste settle to the bottom of the 5-gallon bucket, and then clean water flows over the top and returns to the sump tank. So it's coming out of the sump tank and into the fish tank. It's leaving the fish tank and going to the grow beds and the radial flow filter. If you want to come around this way, we'll take a look at the radial flow filter. All right. So this one, this first of the standpipes is this one right here, and it's coming out, and it goes up with two 45-degree connectors into the side, just at about this height. It's going in and up at a 45, not a 90-degree angle, but a 45, to come up through the center of this standpipe that's coming up here. And it flows over, and the poop settles, and then here is the cover. The water comes up through the center of this thing and causes the poop to fall. The fish waste falls down, and then the clear water that's around this gets flown over back and returns into the sump tank. So I'll give you a demonstration here real quick. Just take my 5-gallon bucket, and when this thing gets full of fish waste, just open up the valve, swirl it around at the bottom to loosen any hardened fish waste. I just let it flow until this bucket is full, and that cleans out the solid waste that is accumulated in this radial flow filter. Now this water is fairly clean because I did actually perform this function just a couple of days ago, so there's not a whole lot of fish waste in there. But I'll give you an example, and I'll show you a clip in a second of some of the waste that's coming out of here. So this water is not terribly dirty, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour it back into here, and you'll be able to see some fish waste, especially at the bottom of the bucket. It's not totally clear, and there is some fish waste in there, but as I said, I just did this a couple of days ago. So there was a decent amount of fish waste in there, and you can see in the bucket there's still some fish waste, and I'll just rinse that out and put it in there. But now when it gets kind of sludgy and there's a lot of fish waste, what I will actually do is just take that sludge and pour it on some of the plants around here, and it will be an excellent fertilizer for them. So that's pretty much it, folks, for the Aquaponics plumbing system. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.